off, there's Professor Mary Macharia, who is a researcher and educator. She's based at the Southern Illinois University in Edwardsville in the US. She holds a PhD in information systems. And she began her IT journey detangling computer and printer cables under desks, troubleshooting hardware issues, repairing computers at an organization right here in Nairobi. And now here she is, a professor in the US teaching information science. So, Professor Mary, I have some questions for you, and I will share my screen. I will share my screen because she has a presentation to show. So, Professor Macharia, can you tell us, how is AI applied in colleges and universities in the US? I'm sure many of us, especially those of us who are in university here in Kenya, sometimes we think the US is so far ahead, or the Western countries are so far ahead, and we don't know what they're doing. So what happens there, Mary?
Thank you very much for that intro. So I don't claim to speak for all universities in the US. I'm only based in one. So what I'm going to give is very general, but it seems to be the same across the board. So first of all, when AI started being used more publicly by individuals, by students, by just in general by everyone, students were very excited about it. They thought, oh, here is an AI. If I'm given an essay assignment, I can just ask ChatGPT to write it for me. So what professors, including myself, would do is we would consider essays or work written by, using AI as tech-assisted plagiarism, and we would flag students. We would, they would get reported to the dean of students, for example. They would get warning letters for using AI to do their work. But then as time has gone on, we've come to the point of understanding, especially because of what is being required by employers, that AI is, if it is leveraged properly, the way Professor Judy has said, it can be an excellent tool to be able to solve problems and get work done. So universities across the US are actually increasingly incorporating AI into their coursework, into research, into career preparation, because while initially schools had tried to limit the use of AI, the broader trend now is shifting towards teaching students how to use AI responsibly, critically, and effectively.
What does that mean, responsible use of AI?
By responsible, so for example, if I ask my students to to give an essay assignment, right? What I tell them is, yes, you can consult AI to write your assignment, but don't just copy paste the output from AI and paste it onto a Word document and submit it. That is not responsible use. What I tell them, for example, is, if you use AI, show me the prompts that you gave the AI, right? And then critically evaluate, what did that response, is it true? Because AI has been known to hallucinate, to create things out of the air, to just make up things. So they have to critically analyze that output for veracity. Is it true? Is it supported? Can they find actual literature that supports what the output says? And so they have to include that as part of their submission of the assignment. Yes, I used AI in doing my assignment, but this is what I found, this is what AI found, and this is my analysis of the AI output.
Okay, so moving from the classroom to the world of work, and especially the tech industry, what does the tech industry want from incoming workers?
Thank you. So we have had panels where we've had some people from industry coming in to tell us how they're using AI and what they're expecting of students. So one of the things that they are increasingly saying is that if you have a line item on your CV that says you have some knowledge of AI and maybe give a few points about how you've used that AI, you actually have an advantage over somebody who doesn't have AI as part of their work product, right? So what researchers and employers are doing, or what they're looking for, is they're looking for workers who can understand and use AI to become more productive, to become more adaptable. So they're looking for workers who are not afraid of AI, those who have hands-on experience with knowing how to use, for example, prompt engineering, who can use AI tools effectively, who can improve productivity, build models, use agentic AI, and so on. So those kind of people are having an advantage over those who are not using AI at all. So that knowledge, that hands-on experience is becoming a differentiator between the hiring and promoting decisions in organizations today.
Okay, so a final question is, what content is taught in American institutions about AI?
So that's really good, because one of the things, as we know, technology changes so quickly, including AI. There's a new model, there's a new tool all the time. So it's a bit of a challenge for universities to figure out what to teach. So what they are mostly focusing on, first of all, is big data and machine learning. There's also that ethical AI use. I'm sure you've seen stories in the news of some big organizations. For example, KPMG in Australia produced a report by AI. Nobody checked over it. Nobody looked over it. So what organizations are looking for is people who can ethically use AI, not just taking the output and presenting it as their own work, but actually, looking through it, critically analyzing it, making corrections, making changes, and so on. The other thing that universities are also doing is emphasizing certificate courses in AI, how to design business models, how to use agentic AI, and so on and so forth.
Okay, you said something there that maybe some of us are wondering, what is big data?
So if you think about what data looked like in the past, so you would have, for example, if you're looking at a record of students at a university, right? So you would have tables, with rows and columns. If you think about an Excel spreadsheet, so you have the student ID, student name, maybe their, what courses they're taking, what year they are, that was structured data. But what we have with big data is data that's unstructured. So, for example, it could be emojis, it could be, voice, audio, video. So, meaning that it is unstructured. It has volume, so there's tons and tons of it. I give my students an example of, if they go into a Walmart, for example. I don't know, I forgot the stores.
What's the Walmart?
Taskies. What I left Kenya when there was Taskies.
Like Nakumat.
Nakumat, yes. Like
Nakumat died, Naivas.
Naivas. You walk into a Naivas. So what organizations here do is they collect data on who's walking into the store, what time did they walk in, what day did they walk in, what did they buy, how many items of that. So all that data that's being collected is part of big data. Right, so there's volume, velocity, and variety. Right, so there's different kinds of data, including, like I said, audio, video, emojis. That's all that. Likes, if you go into a search, like a Google search, and you search for things, so they're collecting data on what did you like, how many seconds did you spend on a particular ad, did you click on a link, where did that link go to, all that together combined is considered big data. I hope I have.
Yes. Well, thank you, Professor. We'll come back to you. We'll move on to Jeremy.